So there's this thing like every time we go live, we're
Mhm.
always live either sooner than I anticipate
Okay.
or later than I anticipate because the little live button on the top. But we're live. We are now officially live. What is up, you guys? Oh my God. Happy Saturday, girl.
Happy Saturday. What a way to start the weekend.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to fucking be here. It's so synchronistic and beautiful how this has happened, where we had Melanie yesterday come and talk about relationships. Now we have you diving into
Mhm.
sex and relationships and business and how all of this is connected. So first and foremost, I need to introduce you. I need to say hi to all of our badass business babes who are jumping on. Welcome. This is Olivia Seline. She is a fucking badass, and she's here today to talk about sex and business. How are you
Sex,
feeling,
babe.
girl?
I'm all like, let's talk about sex, babe. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready. It was so funny because I was watching Melanie's back this morning and I was like, how synchronistic. It's so true. She talked all about relationships and I'm like, now let's dive even deeper. So I won't go too much into relationships today, but we'll dive deeper into the sex part for that 20 to 30, 40 minutes or so.
I'm gonna be taking
And I'm
lots of
excited.
notes. Yeah. Taking all the notes. And this has been so cool for me, right? Because like I get to learn as I'm showing up to
Totally.
be here to guide you guys. So guys, I want to take a minute. Let's introduce. This is Olivia Seline. She's a business coach for entrepreneurial women, and she focuses on helping people who desire to upgrade their business to the next level while also reigniting their passion in their relationships. So I'm super cool. I'm so excited for this. Like, I'm cool to take a step back and let you lead and show our biz babes the way on all of these things surrounding success and sexuality at the same time. It's gonna be fun.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
You go, girl. Take it away.
Thanks. Hi, guys. Welcome. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys have your coffee. I hope you're chilling with your family. It's such a weird day to go live on a Saturday morning. I don't really do this very often, but it's such an honor to be here with Lauren and be here with you guys. And the trainings this week have been insane. So I am just honored that I get to go next and talk about kind of a taboo topic around sex and how sex correlates with how we show up in our business. So as Lauren said, I coach a lot of women on their business. But the thing that sets me apart is really I coach you on your relationship as well. I think a lot of times as business owners, myself included, we have this feeling that we have to choose. It's either the business or the relationship. It's the business or the sex life. It's the success or the sex. Like we don't get to have it all. It's almost like we have to let plates drop and we can't have all the things that we desire. And I believe that we don't have to sacrifice anything, that we get to have it all. You can have this and that. You can have the badass bank account and the badass relationship. You can have incredible, passionate, connected, deep, loving, intimate connection and sex with your spouse. You can have all of the money and all of the clients in business. They're totally correlated. It's like this big, beautiful, weaved web. And I want to really dive into how and why it correlates today. So let me ask you this. So I want to know, how are you showing up right now in your business? Right? Think about how you show up in your business. How are you showing up in your relationship? How are you showing up in the bedroom? How are you showing up in your everyday, right? How do you show up? What is your energy saying? Our energy talks for us. So it's constantly, communicating for us whether we want it to or not. So for example, are you afraid to be seen? Are you afraid to be visible? Are you afraid to be touched? Are you afraid to be experienced? Are you afraid to be out loud, living and speaking your truth? And that can be in business. That can be on social media. Maybe you feel called to share your story, but you're terrified of what people might think. Or maybe it's simply communicating your needs in the bedroom and you're terrified of that. And you start to kind of shudder and just think about like, oh my God, I can't tell him that I don't like that. Or I can't tell him that I want this because I don't know how to speak. Right? How correlated are these two things? Are you owning your power? Are you commanding the room, commanding presence with you just being there, commanding attention the second that you walk in the room? Have you ever been in the room with a really confident woman when she walks in the door and its heads start to turn because you can feel like an energetic pull towards the presence that just walked in the room? It's insane, right? So are you owning your power when you walk into the room, when you walk into a networking event, when you show up on social media, when you show up in the bedroom with your partner? How do you show up? What's that power there? What's that feeling? What's that vibe that's coming from you, right? We all, I would assume, with everyone that's leading this training, we all understand frequencies, vibes, energies, I would assume. Leave questions below if you're not quite sure what that means. Maybe we can dive into it in the Q&A, but I'm going to assume that most of us know that vibe, that frequency, that energy is what attracts and repels everything that we want, right? So how are you showing up in the bedroom? How are you showing up in your business? Are you in alignment? Are you feeling fully free to express yourself, free to be yourself? You feel this authenticity where it doesn't matter what she thinks, doesn't matter what he thinks. I am fully available and owning myself and my qualities, my strengths, my weaknesses, my power. I am free to be me, right? Think about how directly that correlates in business and in the bedroom. Like, we have to be able, have you ever had, okay, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I would assume some of us can, where you feel so liberated in sex when you're having drunk sex, right? Like zero inhibitions. You walk out in like these high heels and you're like, watch me roar. Like I am the hottest thing. And really we're a mess, but we feel so hot and you don't even think twice. You don't second guess. You don't apologize. What if you could have that when you're sober? What if you focused on really owning your sensuality, your sexuality, your power, your sovereignty, your wholeness, your femininity, that you could have that sober where there's zero inhibitions when you're in the bedroom with your partner? How different would that affect how you show up in business and how you can command the space? Because I would hope we're not leading like live videos drunk all the time. Like hopefully we're doing some sober, right? So how would that correlate when you show up there in that space? If you can own it in the bedroom, you can own it on social media. It's all intertwined. So really start to think about, am I afraid of being rejected? Am I afraid of being denied? Am I afraid of being vulnerable? And am I present in what I'm doing? Presence is such a key piece in this. Am I present when I'm in my business and totally intentionally focused? Am I present when I'm with my partner? Totally, and fully available for him or for her in that moment. How is this all correlated? So as I said, everything is energy. Okay, so let's dive in. So that's why, right? Do you see all the why there? Now let's go into the how. So everything is energy. Melanie talked about this yesterday. Money is energy, right? We all vibrate at a certain frequency. We've got the highs, we've got the lows. We're happy, we're sad, we're excited, we're nervous. Like we have all these different frequencies that are constantly talking, constantly communicating with other people. And it's our aura. It's around us. It's the energy that we're exuding. It's the way people feel when they're with us. And it either attracts them to us if they vibe with us and if they're drawn to that frequency. If you know that there's something like Lauren, for example, there's something that you're drawn to with her, right? And she doesn't even have to say anything. It's a vibe. When I get on a call with my client, it's a vibe that I bring to the call. They can feel it whether I communicate it or not. It's my aura. It's like that bubble around me. And it's speaking to your aura all of the time. You're either drawn to me or you're repelled by me, and that's okay. You can have whatever you want. I don't have to be your cup of tea, and that's totally cool too. But we attract and we repel constantly, whether we want to or not. So if you guys have ever heard, and I didn't get to listen to the very end of Melanie's training, but something Melanie always says, she's one of my mentors, so of course, and I've had her on the podcast many times. So she always teaches that we attract who we are, not what we do. So a lot of the times you can think, well, I'm doing everything right. I'm showing up on social media. I go on Instagram and I'm posting every day. I'm working tirelessly and I'm getting all the things done on my to-do list. I'm constantly commenting on everything. I'm constantly in it with all of the people. And it's still not enough. People still don't want to invest in me. People still don't want to be a part of what I have to offer. People are still saying no. Why isn't it working? I'm doing everything right. It's because what you do doesn't actually matter as a business owner. In fact, like I am at the point where I'm like outsourcing everything. I'm like, I don't want to do much of anything. I'm getting rid of all that. I am so focused on showing up and how I'm being, because people are attracted to who I am, to how you feel when you're with me. Right? It gives you goosebumps. It's like this, it sends this surge through your body, through every cell of your being, that you're attracted to these people, to the Laurens, to the Melanies, to the Autumns, to the Shannons. Like you want to be with them because it's something about the way they make you feel with their aura and with their presence. And the same thing with your partner. Your partner can be attracted to you physically, but if you guys are disconnected and you're not connecting in this very intimate, deep, passionate, excited, sensual, vulnerable, transparent way, there's a disconnect. They don't want to be in that aura because the aura is depleted and exhausted and burnt out and tired. And it's got too many plates that it's juggling, and you're not able to be fully present in that moment with them. And they don't necessarily love being with us in that moment. I am like full example. I started my business almost 5 years ago, my very first business. And my relationship fell apart because I was so tunnel visioned. I was so excited. I was so focused on my business. I was showing up every day. I was the first one to show up. I was the first one to respond to messages. I was posting like 5 times a day. I was always, always, always in my business. And I kept telling my husband, I was like, well, one day, this will all be worth it. One day I'll get to spend it with you. I'm doing this for us. You're my priority. And I use air quotes because I wasn't showing him that through my action. I was just saying it. And it's really in all how we're being in that moment. And in the moments that I was being, I can say whatever I want, but the energy that's felt is that he's not a priority. And we fell apart. And one day we had a really, really, really honest, vulnerable conversation where I realized, who cares if I one day get there, whatever there is, right? All the money in the world, then it all makes sense. When it's not true, you can make all the money in the world. And if your life is falling apart, it's just going to amplify that. If you can't have your relationship as a priority right now, and if you're not having sex with your partner, more money and more clients and more success isn't going to make this successful all of a sudden, like it clicks. It's not like that. It's going to amplify whatever problems are here because now you have more to keep up with. Now you've got more to lose over here. You've got more stake in the game, and you've got to be more over here. That if this isn't solid, this starts to fall apart. And who even knows, when you're making all the money in the world, when you finally are making that $1 million that your soul is craving, your partner could be long gone. He could be out of there. She could be out of there. She could say, peace, I don't have to put up with this. I want someone who's committed to me. Right? How does it feel when your husband comes home from work and he just goes straight to play video games? Right? How does it feel for him? How does it feel for you? He's just like, okay, peace. And he doesn't acknowledge you. Same thing. When my husband would come home from work and I was glued to my computer and I wouldn't even get up and just like kiss him and greet him and say, I'll be with you in like an hour. Just give me 1 more hour. And I would just keep working. That was the exact same way that he felt. So it's almost like we have this double standard, and we have to be sure that the way we want to be treated is the way that we're showing up in that area. So think about when you're in a fight. Think about when you're arguing with your partner, when you guys are having a really down moment. We've all had dark seasons. I've been married for 7 years in January. We've been together for 11 years. It's been one hell of a roller coaster. We've had our highs, we've had our lows, we've had our ups, we've had our downs. Marriage is much like entrepreneurship, right? It's all over the place sometimes. But think about how you feel when you're in a fight and you're not speaking. How the hell do you expect to show up in business that day and be confident and be excited and be like creative and inspired and everything's flowing freely when at home your life is falling apart? That's the very tangible. If you don't understand the energies and the frequencies yet, I promise you will. But think about the very tangible where, oh my God, my relationship's falling apart. How am I supposed to be whole and show up strongly on social media when my personal life is literally in shambles? I don't believe in fake it till you make it. I think that's bullshit because I think your energy can be felt whether you're faking it or not. So for me, when I'm fighting with Joe, I might have to compartmentalize that, right? Where I have to kind of be like, okay, take a deep breath. Olivia, take this problem, take this situation, put it in a little box over here, put it to the side, focus on your client right now, or show up on that live video that you promised people you were going to be on. And there is that integrity there where I still show up. I still have to do what I've got to do. But if it's a constant thing and if everything's falling apart over here, the business starts to suffer as well. You can't separate the two. It's not, well, one day I'll get there and then we can have the great sex. It's how can I have the great sex now? How can I have that deep, intimate connection with my partner now, with myself now, so that when I have all the success that I want, it's just amplifying what incredible connection we already have. So I want you to think about a lot of things apparently today. I'm realizing I'm using that phrase a lot, but think about your sensuality. Women are very sensual beings. We experience life through our senses. We see and we hear and we taste and we smell and we touch. Like we have this incredible way, as Melanie has explained it before. I thought it was so funny when she taught this one time too. And she was talking about how women are the only gender where we go down the candle aisle at Target and we're like, all of the smells, all of the candles, all of the things, right? We experience life through our senses, through the way that we touch, through the way that it feels, through the way that it tastes. We're very intimate in that way. And men experience life through us, experiencing life through our senses. So when you activate your sensuality, that's innate within you, this ability to experience life through your senses. When you activate that, you come alive in a different way. It's like a light switch, a light bulb turns on inside of you, and all of a sudden you're exuding this energy, this passion, this excitement, this I'm fulfilled, I'm whole, I'm complete, I'm here, I'm in my power. And it exudes this energy that people are drawn to like a magnet. And I'm not talking just sexually, right? Yes, your partner's like, ooh, hey, I'm digging this, whatever's going on here. I want more of this. But even like women are drawn to other women who are fully alive within themselves, who are fully available for themselves, who are comfortable with themselves, who are vulnerable with themselves, right? When's the last time you just stood naked in front of a mirror and just saw yourself and really loved yourself in that moment? Or instead of rushing through a bath or a shower really quick and like getting into the bed really fast and like ratty old clothes, you fully took a bath and you experienced with the oils and you rubbed your body, you touched yourself, you felt it, you experienced it through your senses, which is how you were created. But we get so in this go, go, go masculine hustle vibe that we forget to come back to our senses. When you can reactivate that sensuality within yourself and that ability to experience life in that way, you come fully alive and people want to be with you. They want to be in your presence because there's just something about you. They can't explain it. It's not like everyone's like, oh, she activated her sensuality. I want to work with her. They don't say that. They just feel it. They don't have to know the secret and the magic behind it. I teach that. So here I am telling you all of these secrets, but other people don't have to know. You don't have to go on social media and say, today's the day I activated my sensuality. Come work with me. Here's the pay button, right? They just feel it and they flock to you. It's like a magnet that people are just like, oh my God, I need more of her. And that will absolutely affect how your spouse or how your partner shows up for you as well. So women are created to experience pleasure. Okay. So when I asked you all those questions in the beginning and how you're showing up in sex and how you're showing up in your business, how are you showing up for pleasure in your everyday life? When's the last time that you moved slowly and you flowed and you accessed your ability to experience pleasure? For example, sipping slowly on a hot cup of coffee and just tasting it and feeling it and being like, ooh, this tastes so good. Or you light a candle and you're like, that smells amazing. And it just like ignites that feeling in you. Or you in sex, when you slow down enough, we're talking about sex today. Perfect. Bring it in here. When you're in sex, okay, in the act, having intercourse with your spouse, with your partner, with yourself, whatever it might be, when's the last time you allowed yourself to fully experience pleasure in that moment? Instead of just trying to race into the next thing and what do I got to do and where do I got to be and what's for dinner and oh, I got to show up on this call and then there was this thing, but oh, we haven't had sex in a week or so I better put that on my to-do list. Okay, check, that's done. He's good. Okay, cool, moving on. When was the last time you allowed yourself to just experience pleasure in that moment? Did you know that every single woman has a button on her body designed specifically only for experiencing pleasure? It's called your clitoris, and we all have one. And it's there for zero purpose besides to experience pleasure in its entirety in that moment, to feel fully there. It doesn't do anything for us. You don't need one. It's there to experience pleasure. When's the last time you experienced pleasure in the bedroom where it wasn't so focused on making sure that he's good or that she's good, but that you're good and that you're feeling fully in that moment? When you are experiencing pleasure on a day-to-day basis, that's what is called orgasmic energy. If you've heard of orgasmic energy, we all hear about orgasms. And a lot of times we think about orgasms directly correlates with finishing. I need to finish in sex and then I had an orgasm, but it's not the case. They're two separate things. You can finish and then you can have an orgasm. You can have multiple orgasms and you can actually experience and create orgasmic energy in your body in your every single day life. Slowly eating a piece of chocolate and experiencing pleasure in that moment and slowly tasting it. Sipping on that glass of champagne and fully feeling it kind of trickle all the way down your throat and you're like such in pleasure mode. Going to a yoga class and fully experiencing pleasure in that moment and allowing yourself to be present there and feel that life source rush through your body because you're so connected and so in tune with yourself. Orgasm is literally, if you look it up in the dictionary, it's just your ability to experience pleasure. It has nothing to do with finishing or sex itself. Yes, you can have and experience pleasure the entire time through sex and have this orgasmic experience. And the orgasm, when you fully are experiencing pleasure, where you lose all control, you surrender completely, and it's like you go into another dimension. It's like you go into another world. You can create that in your everyday. And in fact, we're so focused sometimes on finishing in sex that we don't even take that orgasmic energy and use it in the rest of our day and let it guide us. We're just trying to get rid of it because we're just trying to get rid of all of the excess and go until empty. What if you allowed yourself to be here fully experiencing that orgasmic energy coursing through your veins every single day, every single moment? How differently would you show up in your business? That's that creative flow. It's that inspiration. It's that light that turns on that people are drawn to like a magnet. When's the last time you allowed yourself to have that energy coursing through your veins rather than just trying to deplete yourself and hustle, hustle, hustle until it's gone? So how are you allowing yourself to experience pleasure? When you are experiencing this pleasure, like I said, your magnetic pull, it's electric. It radiates. People are drawn to it. Your aura becomes attractive and people want to be around you. People long to be in your presence. It's like, when is she going to go live again? When is she going to host a retreat? I have to be there. I just want to be with her. She could say nothing at all, but you just are dying to be in her energy. You're dying to be in it. It's this orgasmic, tapped in, turned on, tuned in energy. And we all have it available to us, but we've blocked it because we get so busy in our day-to-day. We get so going, and we tune too much into our masculine energy as business owners. So let's talk about those masculine and feminine energies, right? What is it? What is the energies, the masculine and the feminine? I'm assuming a lot of us know what this means. If you don't, post below. We will definitely get to the questions, but just a little synopsis here, because I lead whole trainings on this for hours and hours on end. But masculine energy is our very, it has nothing to do with gender, by the way. I'm going to clear that up. Little asterisk. Nothing to do with gender. We all have masculine and feminine energies within us. Every single one of us. Same-sex relationships, they both have a more dominant masculine and feminine energy. They also need to balance that. Heterosexual relationships, same thing. So we all have this masculine and feminine energy within us. What happens is a lot of us as business owners get plugged into that masculine and we turn it on 100 rather than that 50-50 balance. We go straight up to 100. The masculine is the controlling, the hustler, the get shit done, the one who is analytical and logical. It wants the 20-year plan. It needs to know all of the details and the facts. And it's very much in your head, in your mind, in your brain. We're making decisions from this space all the time as business owners, right? We're like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, this makes sense. This doesn't. It's why we talk ourselves out of anything, because our heart can be yearning for something. It can be saying, talk about this, but our mind is like, nope, 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 don't talk about that. You could get rejected. Like, it just logically, it doesn't make sense. And our heart is like, you are worthy of abundance and you can make millions of dollars. It's so doable for you. And your brain's like, nope, it's not. There's no way you can do it. Like, you've never done it before. Logically, there's no way for this to make sense. So that's our very masculine energy. It's so needed. If we're all in the feminine, which I'm going to talk about in a second, nothing gets done. We're like up in the clouds, like, lollygagging through life, versus being grounded and being anchored and being so in it, where we're just like, okay, cool. Here's what I've got to do. I'm going to do it and I'm going to hustle. I'm going to get it done. Check, check, check. Cool. But what happens is then we bring that home into the bedroom. We bring that very boss-like attitude, that very boss-like demeanor, and we bring that into our relationship, where the feminine is yearning to be felt and heard and experienced and like let out of her cage. Think of her as like that goddess, that queen within you. She's the one who is flowy and effortless and at ease, and she trusts and she surrenders and she's at peace. She just has this inner knowing. She's got this cool, confident calm of just like, we're good, trust. We got this. It's okay. She's the one of the intuition energy, where it's like, I just know this is what we're meant to do, versus like, oh, logically, does this make sense? Nope. We drop into our heart, we drop into our soul, we drop into our womb area, and we say, nope, I know what's next for me. And it doesn't make sense, but something in me is just saying, this is it. This is our next best step. It's like when you feel pulled to work with someone and it doesn't make sense logically in your brain, but something in you is like, I have to be with this person. That's that inner knowing, that intuition, that feminine energy that we all have access to. So what happens is, I want you to start tapping more into that feminine energy, not only in your relationship, bring that goddess, that queen, that sovereignty out in your relationship, but also bring her out in your business. Because the truth is, the hustle and the hustle and the hustle isn't sustainable if you don't try to balance this masculine feminine energy. We always think like, okay, it's either all in masculine or it's all in feminine, or I need to have a 50-50 split. And it's not that. It's more like a pendulum swing where we'll be like, okay, we're way in our masculine today and I got to get a lot of shit done, but then I got to bring her back down. What are the things that I can do to kind of start swinging back towards that feminine and start swinging more this way versus all the way up here? So I want you to start tapping more into your feminine energy, because when you tap into that feminine energy, you'll find your connection, your desire for sex, for that connection with your partner, that will start to increase, because the feminine is the receiver. She's the one who receives and experiences pleasure. She's the one who's in that luxury and fun and play and flowy vibe where she's not worried about all the things that need to be happening for the rest of the night. She's in this moment of presence and surrender and play. And then that will directly correlate with how we show up in our business, right? And we can show up in both of those very strongly. So tapping into your feminine, learn how to experience play and pleasure and fun every single day, rather than, eating a burrito at your desk while you're trying to like hop in between client calls and you're scarfing everything and you're going. Slow down, be present, be here. Experience, schedule in a lunchtime. There's that masculine, but then go out and just be. And there's your feminine. How can you start to infuse both of these into your day to day? So when you're in that feminine, you're able to light yourself up. You're able to turn yourself on. That magic starts to flow through you. People want to be with you. They feel it because you're experiencing pleasure. You're learning how to receive. And you're aware of what energy is needed here. Do I need to be in my masculine? Do I need to be in my feminine? Right? In my relationship, if Joe is showing up very masculine, my husband, if I show up very masculine, which is what I did, very much dominant, like boss-like attitude that I would bring home, it was like we were two sides of a magnet trying to come together, but we couldn't. We were like resisting each other right here. And it was just like, oh my God, why are we resisting each other so much? Why are we butting heads so bad? Why are we not sexually attracted to each other? It's because I was trying to be the man too, and he was trying to be the man. And there was like zero feminine energy here. There was zero polarity, and we were just butting heads. So what happened was then I was able to be more in that feminine. We were able to come together so effortlessly, and it was perfect. It was like this beautiful, like he was attracted to me. I was attracted to him. I could lean back. He could step up. And it wasn't this controlling where it's like he's controlling me and I'm submissive all the time and like I just do as he pleases. It was me owning my power as a woman of being like, I can freaking make you fall to your knees in this moment when I own my confidence. Your jaw will hit the floor. I've got this light about me. I've got this energy about me. And I can command the presence of the room in that moment if I want to. I have the power. Right? Men are responding to us all of the time. Every single childhood book you ever read or every story, it's always about like the witchy, goddess queen type one who draws in men and they fight dragons for her. And it's this whole thing. Like you have power in that moment, but it's realizing like I can lean back, I can surrender, I can flow here. And it gives him that ability to step up and be empowered and be in his masculine. And it's this beautiful dance versus this resisting and this butting heads and this trying to be like one up each other and who's going to call the shots and who's going to be here. And then it's just like, oh my God, I just can't have sex with you right now because I want to rip your head off. Right? That is not a very solid energy to be able to, deepen this connection with your partner. So let your man be the man. Let your woman be the woman. What energy is needed here? Own your power, own your sovereignty, own your space, own your energy, own your womanhood, own your femininity, own your sensuality, own your sexuality. Be the badass and get shit done when you're in work mode, but be the goddess when you're home. Chill the fuck out a little bit, right? Like slow down, be present, be here. Because what happens and what I see happen so often for clients and for friends of mine is that you get in this roommate vibe with your partner because you're just trying to like, it's fine, business. And then he's doing his thing, and there's no connection in between. And you become roommates, and then sex is a chore, and then you're just checking it off and he's not feeling you. You can say, oh, I'm turned on all day long, but he can sense when you're lying. Most men can sense when we fake an orgasm, when we fake it, right? He knows when your head's not there. Literally, Joe had to tell me for a long time when I started tapping back into this power that I had as a woman and I started to own my sensuality and be a lot more present in sex versus thinking it was a chore and like check it off my to-do list. He literally would tell me, turn your mind off. Turn your brain off. You're thinking again. Get out of your head. Stop trying to think about performing and how it has to be and how it has to look and how it should be. And like, it should be like the porn though. And it should be like, my friend said that she does this. And like, she said she does this. Like, just be you. Be in your wholeness, be in your power, be in your sovereignty. And then you come back together in that fluidity and that connection and that intimacy and that next level. And it affects how you show up in your business. So I want to touch a little bit on the how as we start to wrap up here, but the how, right? So I'm telling you all these things, and there's been a little tangibles in here of how, but I've been talking more about the how, and as far as like the business, how it all correlates. I've been talking about the why. I've been talking a lot about the magic, and you're like, okay, cool. What do I do though? How do I do this? So number one, and I could teach this literally all day long, so I'm going to try to wrap her up. Okay. Number one, turn yourself back on. Over time, society shuts us down. Whether it's our conditioning, it's how we grew up, it's our beliefs, it's what we see in the media. I know on Instagram right now, like everything is getting censored with sex, and you have to use like an asterisk, and you can't say the word sex, or you might, get shut down, and all these things are happening. We're being censored, and we're being turned off, and we're being shamed, and we're feeling a lot of guilt, and we're feeling like we're kind of crawling into ourselves into this dark hole of like, well, can I wear this? Like, well, my shoulder's showing. Oh my God, is that too sexual? Or am I showing too much cleavage? Or am I, like I should hide myself. And we start to feel a lot of shame around our bodies, around our power, around that magic that we have. That I'm going to side note this and say the magic is already within you. It's not something you have to buy. It's not something you need to hire someone to be able to turn back on in you, or you need to do whatever. It's just cobwebs maybe might be on it, or icebergs are around it, or it's this piece of you that just doesn't feel safe in this moment necessarily to come out and be alive. She's been pushed down because we were so masculine driven that we started to push down that feminine. So she's there, that inner goddess, that inner queen, whatever you want to think of her as, she's there. She just needs you to turn her back on. She just needs you to tap back into that power. She needs to feel safe again. And sometimes it is just those conversations with yourself of like, you are safe here. It's okay here. I've got this. I'm not abandoning you. I'm not going anywhere. We're in this together. And just reminding her that she's safe. And it's starting to think about, how are you showing up for yourself? A lot of times in relationships, a lot of times in sex even, we always want to change the man. We want to change our partner. If only he would do this, or if only he would do that, or if only he would be like this and he would be more like him, and like, oh, her husband does this and I wish that he would do this. You can't go into this and say, I need you to change all of these things. You're just going to piss him off. And if I'm honest, if Joe did that to me, I would be pissed off. I'd be like, excuse me, motherfucker? No. And he would back it up, and we would have to figure it out from there. So instead, take control back and take power back of turning yourself on and being the mirror for him. He's responding to you, whether you believe that he is or not. It's so crazy. I had a client the other day who had like her best sexual experience with her partner ever. And I was asking her like, what happened? What changed? And she's like, well, I focused on me. I was turning myself on. I let go of everything. And it was much more relaxed in that moment. And she said her partner relaxed. If you relax, he's going to relax. If you lean back a little bit, he's going to lean back about a little bit, especially if things have been really tense in that area for you for a while now in your marriage or your relationship. It's going to take a minute to fully get into this like full orgasmic experience that I'm talking about. Like, give it time, but just start to shift how you're showing up, what you're doing for yourself, how you're taking care of yourself, how you're experiencing and creating pleasure for you. And then he's going to mirror that. Focus on your wholeness, focus on your own happiness. Stop making him make you happy. Focus on your sovereignty, focus on your power, focus on what you can control, which, hello, it's me. You can control yourself. I can control myself, of how I show up, of how I react, of the energy I bring to it. That's all I can control. I can't control Joe as much as I would love to. Damn, life would be a lot easier. But the same thing with our clients, the same thing with our audience, right? We can't control them. I can't force you to hire me. I can't force you to pay me, but you can respond to me based on how I'm showing up and the energy that I'm bringing to it. Same exact thing in sex, okay? So remember, men experience through us. They experience through our ability to be sensual, to experience life in this very sensual way. So start to see and feel and touch and taste with intention. Slow down and be present in the moment, the way that you're drinking the water, the way that you're rubbing the oils down on your body, how fast you're moving through everything, that you're not even taking 5 seconds. Start to be more aware and intentional right? When you're in the shower and you're feeling the water trickle down over you, are you just like rushing so fast you don't even notice like the water and the way that the beads of water feel on your skin? And you're seeing the way, the way that the light when you're outside kind of makes your rings flicker a little bit, and you're seeing this feeling and this experience, and you're seeing things in a different way. And I promise you things will start to shift. Find room for play, find room for pleasure, find room for fun. Get out and have fun. Be a kid again. Go do crafts. Like, what the hell are your hobbies? So many entrepreneurs, myself included, for a long time, like, we didn't have hobbies. What else do we do with our time? We read personal development, we watch more trainings, we listen to more podcasts, we consume, we work, we do. But how are you being? How are you playing? How are you having fun? How are you experiencing pleasure every single day? Have fun. Allow yourself, give yourself permission to have fun again. Make time for self-care. When's the last time you drew yourself a nice long hot bath? The last time you went and got yourself that massage instead of putting that money, towards another program that it's just going to sit in your inbox, right? Not saying the programs aren't important. Those are important. But like, how often are you allowing yourself to just experience and be in self-care and that very slowing down, present, being here type vibe? Initiate sex with your partner more often. It's another way to turn yourself back on. For a long time, I always wanted Joe to initiate it, and I was always pissed when he wouldn't. And he, honest to God, for a long time, he was like, the reason I stopped initiating is because every time I did, you shot me down because you were so busy and you didn't feel like it and you were bloated that day. So I shot him down enough where basically he was like, I didn't want to have sex with the woman that shot my confidence down. And it killed me to hear that, but I was so thankful for his honesty because I was like, damn, you're right. Every time you initiate, if it's been like, a couple of days, I'm like, oh, we just had sex a couple of days ago. Like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. So starting to initiate sex with your partner more often, starting to create that intimacy and that connection and that safe space to have that connection with him or her again. Don't be afraid or ashamed of your body, right? Learn to feel yourself, touch yourself, see yourself, talk to yourself again in a way that is with love and not judgment. When's the last time you said something nice to yourself in the mirror besides just like, God, I hate my cellulite, or God, my stomach looks stupid in this shirt. Like, I should work out more. I really should stop drinking that wine. Like, whatever it might be. Like, how can you just start to love yourself and look at yourself in a different life, like in a different light? That will turn you back on. Because when you're confident and when you're one with yourself, when you know what you want, you know what you like, you know who you are, your man is going to feel that. And it's going to have you show up in a different confidence, a different light with him. And you sure as hell believe that will affect how you show up on social media and for your audience. And here's kind of the final piece of this before I go into receiving for a minute. Take care of your appearance. It doesn't matter what you look like. That's not the point. It's the point of, when is the last time you changed out of your sweaty ass sports bra that you've been wearing for 4 days? You put some lashes on, or you brushed your teeth before you started work for the day, or how good do you feel when you take care of yourself? And when your man comes through the door, you're not like, having the same like dirty workout clothes on that you've had on for 6 days that you've worked out and worked in. Now, trust me, I love me some yoga pants. I love being comfy and cozy, and I work from home. And sometimes it's just staying in my robe all day. And before he gets home one night, I might, throw something sexy on, or I might put a little bit of blush on or whatever. Actually, that's light. I don't wear blush, but a little lip gloss, and I really don't wear that either. But like, I like CC cream. I wear CC cream like every day. That's like my one makeup item that I'll wear every day. So put that on. I just start to feel a little bit good about myself again, right? And that affects our connection. It's not that he's not attracted to me when I've got a messy bun and a sweaty sports bra on. It's that when he sees me and he sees me feeling confident, we show up differently for each other, and it's like a whole different level and experience. So start to take care of yourself again. Put something feminine on, whether maybe you just put a skirt on that day, or you wear like a lace bralette instead of that sports bra, or whatever it might be. The littlest, teeniest, tiniest shifts that you can start to make to own your femininity, own your sensuality, own your magic that's within you. She's there. She just needs to feel safe again. You can then go into the second piece I want to bring in is the art of receiving. Receiving is in that feminine energy, that magic, that ability to experience orgasmic energy and pleasure comes from your ability to receive. How you receive one thing is how you receive most things. So if you can't receive pleasure in the bedroom, if you can't receive a compliment, if you can't receive a gift, and you're one of those people that's really awkward to give to, where they're like, oh, why did you get me this? Like, I didn't get you anything. thanks. And then it's like, hey, that person never wants to give to you again because you're a shitty receiver, and that's not fun. Universe thinks the same thing. Why are they going to give you more clients and more money when you're a shitty receiver? And it makes them be like, oh, that wasn't fun. I want to give this to someone who's going to have a dance party, please. Boom, I will give her the money. I will give her the client. How you receive one thing is how you receive most things. So how can you surrender and be in that moment again, whether it's in your business or in sex? Allow him to please you. Allow him to pleasure you. Allow him to touch you. And allow yourself to be there. If it takes you saying, I can receive this, I can receive this, I can receive this, like I'm here, I'm present, and just focus on how you feel. Maybe you're so out of touch with your own body that you don't even remember what it feels like. So really thinking about like, oh, that feels good. Okay. And bringing yourself back to that moment and really thinking and feeling versus being so caught up in our thoughts of like, oh, I got to do all these things. It's kind of like meditation where everyone tells me they're a shitty meditator. And I'm just like, well, that's kind of the point. If you're shitty at having sex and you're shitty at receiving pleasure in the bedroom, just keep doing it and you'll start to find yourself over time and it will start to become more effortless and in flow for you. So go into sex focusing on you, focusing on, and not in the way of like, he's not going to have fun. When you're turned on, I promise he's turned on. I promise. I literally can almost guarantee, like I could almost bet you $1 million, and I'm not going to do that because I don't have $1 million to give you. But when Joe and when I asked him what shifted everything for us in our connection, which I kid you not, when our sex life turned on, I started making way more money than I ever thought possible. Totally correlated, like from personal experience. When I asked him what shifted, he said, we started focusing on you. And it wasn't so much just like, oh, how can I please him? How can I, get him off and like make sure he's good? It was, how can I be here? What am I getting out of this? And really focusing on me. When I was fully in that moment, he was turned on even more there too. So breathe and focus and surrender, be present. How do you feel? And know that sex can also be a very spiritual, sensual practice. It's not just about get in, get out, done. Pun intended. It can be this like experience that you have together, a very spiritual, deepened practice. And the final piece is just have open and honest communication. So many women that I work with, so many women that I talk to say, well, we're just not having sex, or he's not attracted to me, or, it's just been, we just haven't had sex in so long. It's such an awkward subject for us that it's fine. It's just how it is. Don't accept that. That's not how it has to be. It's the same thing in business. If you're saying, oh, it's fine, I'm just not going to ever be successful, but it's fine. Like, I mean, she can do it. That's cool. Like, I'm fine. You're not fine. Be really fucking honest with yourself. Where are you not happy? Where are you not fulfilled? How can you start to focus on yourself to give yourself some of that fulfillment, but then open and honest communication and conversation with your partner of like, I love the shit out of you and I so want to work on this with us, but I feel disconnected here. Do you? Like, this is how I'm feeling. And go into it not from a place of anger or judgment or being pissed off or being hurt, but really going into it from a space of love of like, I want to fix this. What's going on here? And reconnect together. It took Joe saying something to me for us to start to shift things. I thought we were fine. I was not happy, but I was like, well, we're fine. It's fine. And he was like, things are whatever, But so often I hear people say like, well, that's just how sex is over time. No, it's not. Every single year with my husband gets better and better and better. We have better sex every time we have sex. Every single month things get better because we're so committed to the process together. We're so committed to growing together, and we're so focused on ourselves as well of like, how are we growing personally? What are we doing? How are we being? How's our energy separately that our energy together is even better? The sex can keep getting better and better and better. I promise you that it can. So notice what begins to shift for you when you start to focus on these things. When you start to focus on how you show up in sex, how you show up in the bedroom, how you show up in your relationship, how does that correlate? Now, it's not an instant thing. I'm not saying like the day you have sex, the day you make $1 million. Although I'll tell you, like when I started to practice self-pleasure and when I started to really deepen and increase my ability to receive, I kid you not, PayPals were like coming in. It was crazy how it happened. But for you, it might be a little bit different. So be open to the process. This is a long game. This is a longevity thing. Just as businesses, so is relationship. Be committed to the growth. Be committed to the vision. Be committed to the moment. And how are you showing up in this moment? You attract who you are, not what you do. So who are you being in everything that you're doing? Be honest with yourself. What has to shift? What has to change? Decide today. Apologize to yourself for shutting your goddess out. Apologize to your partner for shutting him or her out. Apologize to whoever you need to forgive, whatever you need to heal, do that work and know that you can shift things today. You can shift things right now. I don't care if you've been married for 30 years. I don't care if you've been married for a year. I don't care if you've been in business for 18 years. I don't care if you've been in business for 18 months. Whatever it looks like for you, you have the power to shift and decide and change now. So shift how you show up, shift what you're doing, what you're focusing on with yourself. Do that in your relationship, do that in the bedroom. I promise you it will affect how you show up in business. I can almost guarantee with $1 million, but again, don't have $1 million for you yet. One day, maybe the next time I leave this training, I'll have $1 million to put on the line. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you have questions, I'm super excited to get to those. Lauren, I know you're hopping back on with us, and here we are.
Wow. I had goosebumps in so many moments of listening to you, Olivia. Like, I'm now in this space of Zen from just having the honor of like listening to you talk. Because I think it's so common for people to get so wrapped up in the masculine energy of getting shit done and go, go, go. And in the midst of all of that, we reduce our goddess energy, we lower our vibration. And as a result, business gets way harder than it ever had to be, right? So I took a lot of notes. So
yay!
We're going to go back and kind of circle. I wish this training could be 2 hours because there's so much that I want to ask you. As we've been going, I've been watching the comments and everybody's like, yes, Olivia's fierce. This is on fire. We had like 40 people jump on live and you've held and captivated the audience for the full hour. So it's been just fucking awesome.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, this was amazing.
Thanks, guys.
So let's talk a little bit, because I know you've lightly tapped on this throughout this training, but I want to kind of lift the veil and really show people what's possible. Tell us where your business has started. Give us the tangible evidence since you've tapped into your feminine energy. And for everybody at home who's like, yeah, I'm going to just take bubble baths and make more money. Like, let's really talk about this. What has changed for you in your business as you've embraced your feminine power?
Beautiful question. Okay. So, I mean, in all honesty, I have like all of my numbers here. So I really started to explore. I always have a spreadsheet that
She's like, let me give you the masculine answer for how my feminine got us a lot of money.
So yeah, in all honesty, so back in April is when I started figuring out this feminine energy and really started to realize, I had known what it was, but I was still so in the rules and the logic of, to make money, I have to do X. And it was very like A plus B equals C. And I didn't give myself the freedom and the liberation and the fun and the play in it to be like, how do I want the rules to be? What do I want to do? You can make rules of every time I get a massage, I make $1,000 or whatever it might be. You have that full ability. So allow yourself to go into that feminine. But yeah, I mean, back in April, I made $55, kid you not, the entire month. May, I made $1,300, and then it went $2,300, $92, $12, $7,800, $17,000. Like, it's been increasing like crazy. The more that I unclench and I trust and I surrender, but I still show up. This is all a foundation that I've built. If I show up almost every single day in some place, I provide value. I have like the logistics of the strategy. But it's a lot more of leaning into the feminine rather than I'm like, what else can I do? It's reconditioning myself to be like, what do I do to be? Like, how have I taken care of myself today? And people are attracted to that energy. They're attracted to the life that I've created, the relationship that I have, the energy that I exude versus just like, what are all of the tasks that I'm doing in my day to day?
Yeah. I mean, there's such a common misconception. Like, I feel like there's this very dark side of what we think feminine is, where it's just like, fa la la, like, I'll show up if I feel like it. And you so powerfully, you're like, if I'm having a fight with my husband or we're having a disagreement, I'm in a lower vibration, I still show up. I still do the thing. But I think what's so important to recognize for our audience is, regardless of showing up, you could show up in a masculine way or you could show up in a feminine way, right? So let's talk about that. Like, how would you show up in a masculine way versus how would you show up in a feminine space in terms of creating content or in terms of like launching programs? Where is that shift started to, how does that look?
Yeah, I think the masculine for me was a lot of much more strategy based of like, it has to be this way. So like, because I said I was going to launch this in my planner 90 days ago, when I planned out my 90 days, I have to launch this. My feminine comes in and she says, am I excited to launch this? If I'm not, what can I launch or what can I create that I would be excited about, that would be very effortless and flowy for me, versus forcing and controlling because one time I said I was going to launch this, I don't have to launch that. Now, that goes back into exactly what you said, though. It's not like, oh, if I say I'm going to go live at 11 and then I'm like, I'm just not really feeling it today. I'm not like, okay, I'm not going to do it. I still show up and I say, what do I need to do in this moment? Excuse me, to be fully like excited and in it. So whether it's a dance party or it's going outside and it's grounding myself or it's calling a friend and like getting hyped again, and then letting whatever's on that live video flow freely. So letting that feminine creativity inspired voice come through, letting it be channeled through me versus like I have to give them 4 tangible like tips on how to do this and it has to be perfect, which goes back into the masculine.
Well, it's such a self-acceptance energy of like, I'm going to show up as I show up without any judgment. It is what it is, but I'm here because I'm committed and I'm consistent and I'm dedicated to my message and my purpose. But I think it's so important. I was hoping you would say what you said because you put it so well. Like, we need to create from a space that feels good and exciting. And it's not about like, what's going to make money or what are we supposed to do or the sales funnel, the tripwire. It's like, what is my heart calling me to do? And what am I excited about? I think there's such a really important point there that it's not just about doing what you think is going to make you money. It's about what is the feminine desiring, right? What is she excited about?
Yeah. What do I have to do or what should I do versus what do I want to do? Like you said, what do I desire to do in this moment? So it is like, there's such a delicate dance. Like you can't just be like, we always talk about, we talked about this on the podcast too, when we were on together, but like, oh, I'm all in my feminine, like nothing's going to get done. Like you need to have that grounding anchor in that masculine, but it's just the dance between the two and realizing that if you're making business really fucking hard, you're probably all up in your head. Take a minute, breathe, take a deep breath, be present, drop into your heart, drop into your soul, drop into that intuition and be like, what is it that I want right now? And like, you're going to know your next best steps every time. And that's that feminine.
In the beginning of the training, you said something that just stuck with me so strongly. I wrote it down. I'm always going to remember it. Women are drawn to other women who experience life. Oh my God, it was so true, right? Because you could be in this space of go, 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 let me achieve the money, let me achieve the success, but you're miserable in your life. So tell me, old Olivia versus this beautiful, vibrant being who now manifests $17,000 months, right? How are you experiencing life differently outside of business? Because that's a reflection of what created the business success, right? So where did things go different?
Yeah, well, and it's so interesting because we do think like money, having all the money, once I hit, 10K months, it was always my goal forever. That was like end all be all, 10K months. I'm going to get there. We all say, I want a 6-figure year, but like, what does that even mean? Like that can be a wide variety of things. Like get a little more specific. Why do you want a 6-figure year? But I remember just being like, okay, then I'll experience life. But if you create all of this success and you're not experiencing life, then you've created your business in a way that the only way to keep it up is to then keep doing what you were doing. So for example, even back in when I hit my first, like that 12K month, I launched like every other week and I realized like, this isn't sustainable for me. So then I hit a dip for a second because I was like, okay, I got to reevaluate. What is it that I want? And then it's continuing to grow, but in a way that's sustainable, in a way that I can keep up. So it was infusing into my life play and fun and pleasure every day. So for example, the other day on Wednesday, I had nothing until, I had a call at 10 and then I had nothing until 7 p.m. And for me personally, like I don't schedule any more now than 3 to 4 calls a day. I'm trying to get to the 2 to 3 range versus before it was like, how busy can I be? How packed can I make my day? I'm on 18 masterminds and networking calls and I'm working with all of these people and I'm taking all these programs and I'm having all these clients. And the busier I was, the more successful I was. Okay, no, that's bullshit. I was making zero money and I was exhausted. But when I started to be like, how little can I actually do and make money? and how much can I delegate and outsource? And yes, I pay for those things, but I make more money in return and I have more freedom. So like Wednesday, I had a call at 10, call at 7. So all through the day, I was like, I'm going to go get my nails done and I'm going to go get a coffee and I'm going to FaceTime one of my friends and I'm just going to like enjoy it. Joe's deployed, or else he probably would have done something fun. But I'm just like, what can I do that's fun? What does that like inner me want if there were no rules? And I go and do that. I might go get a massage. I might bum around Target for a while and like smell all of the candles. Like, what is it that I can do that's fun? You know, do you like to do art? Do you want to play with clay? Do you want to go sit at a coffee shop all day and just dream? Like, allowing space for that now versus, okay, what else do I have to do to look busy and make sure that I feel worthy of the success at the end of the day?
Wow, that touches to so many issues, right? Because your identity is not the money you make. Your identity is how, you know, who you are and like what you love to do and your passions and your interests. And I think that I myself even experienced this where I got like so wrapped up in my identity of success that I wasn't growing as a human in all of these other areas of my life. And I think what we both started to realize at a very connected time was like, the more you love yourself and the more you design a life that you love, the more your business says, I want to expand because she's happy and she's prosperous and she's feeling good and she's centered and she has time freedom. I want to expand. And so the business starts to grow versus if you're in a place of go, 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 fill your schedule, there's no room for that expansion because you feel overwhelmed where you are, right? So why would your business want to expand?
Well, and what is the point? What's the point of having all this money if you're not having fun and if you're not enjoying your life? Like, more money doesn't solve your problems. More money just creates more problems if you already have problems there. So like, I would rather make less money and fucking love the shit out of my life and wake up in the morning and be like, ooh, what do I want to do today? And like have no stress than, oh, I got to keep up all these plates to make all this money. And I've got all these people that are relying on me. Like, it's just, it becomes effortless if you choose for it to be that way.
And you don't have to make less money when you're in that space of relaxation. You make more money when you're in that space.
And easier. It like comes to, because I always say too, don't hire a coach that doesn't have a life that you want, because they're just going to teach you how to build a business, how they built a business, which they're not enjoying their life, which means you're not going to probably enjoy your life. So work with mentors that look at all the aspects of their life, their relationships and their life. And not that it has to be perfect. Hell, I'm far from it. I still fall back into old patterns of busy is my worthiness and all these things that I have to circle back to, like literally last month. But it's looking at the pattern and hiring people who have all of the pieces and all of the pillars that you want versus just the success and the money, because you deserve to have a life that you love. That's the whole point. The whole point.
Let me ask you a question about sex, because something came up when you were talking about this and I was like, she said the word clitoris. This is amazing. Like, I was like, yes, this is great.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking when you talked about how you were in a position where you were rejecting Joe all the time and you said, no, no, no. I'm wondering, and this is probably an obvious answer here, but when you were saying no to Joe all the time, were potential clients saying no to you?
1,000%.
Yeah, that was going on, right? So talk a little bit about that. Because we talk about receiving and its power and related to sex, and what happened there? What did you shift, and how did you start to see that transition into your business?
Yeah. So for me, if you think about it, like back in April when I made $50, it's because like my prices were stupid low. Like, I kid you not, you guys, this time last year, I had two one-on-one clients paying $250 a month. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yes. And then I was like, why is no one on to work with me? And I was clenching and I was forcing and I didn't have time for my husband. I didn't have time for myself. I was rejecting everywhere in my life. People therefore mirror you. They reject you. If you're rejecting yourself, they're going to reject you. They're just a mirror for what you're already experiencing and how you feel about you. And so then I'm going through, I'm like signing one client at a time, maybe one that they would pay in full for like the $1,000 for the 3 months or whatever. And then I would just like barely get by. And then when I started to really tap into, instead of what else can I do, I tapped into that ability to receive pleasure, especially in the bedroom. That's exactly when the income started to shift and started to grow. And I kid you not, it's because think about how you show up. Like, you know how people always say like, oh, that person just needs to get laid. Like, they are high strung. You know how we always say that?
Yes.
so true. It's like because think about how you feel, you like release emotionally and mentally and physically in the bedroom, and you are just like lighter, and people want to be around you, and they're like, oh, she has really great sex. Like I can tell, right?
Yeah.
It's a feeling, it's an energy thing. And so when I started to be open to receive Joe and his initiations, and I started to initiate, other people started to say yes to me as well, because I was saying yes to other areas of my life and to him and to the coaches that I wanted to work with. Because too, I was also blocking myself by saying, I can't afford to work with her. So why would my clients think that they could afford to work with me if I'm not even telling myself I can afford to work with people I want to work with, you know? The mirror.
I'm laughing over here because I had an English high school teacher who was so fucking brilliant, but she was the biggest see you next Tuesday to like everybody. And then it's so funny because like I hated her. Oh my God. It was so bad. She was like the worst. She was always angry, always mean. She was single. She was divorced and angry at men. And then just recently she fell in love. And now she has like no more wrinkles in her face and she's smiling all the time. And like the people at school love her. Like, it's just so funny. Like, your sexual life comes out in such a dominant way for women. And it totally transitions to how you show up in business. If you're cranky all the time, she just needs to get laid. And now she's happy.
Well, and it's just too, like, I mean, and if you are single, I get that question a lot. Well, what if I'm single? And, you know, it doesn't mean you have to go sleep with whoever you want. I mean, if you want to sleep with whoever you want, by all means do that. If you're doing it from a place of filling a void, heal the things within yourself first. But if you're doing it from a place of like, I just want to explore this part of me, then by all means have so much fun. But also like self-pleasure, like you can give yourself that same release and that same experience. And it's rewriting a lot of stories around it, especially if you grew up like me, and I had a lot of shame around self-pleasure, and it was like of the devil. So I did a lot of rewriting there, and I started to experience that with myself. Because for example, Joe's gone for 9 months, and that's not fun. So I have to give myself that release and get myself laid without someone else, you know?
No, I think that's so beautiful. And like when you can claim what you want in your individuality, like even if it's not in the bedroom, right? Self-pleasure is great and beautiful, but you also said, you're like, I'm going to go get my nails done today. We were talking about what happened this week. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to go bounce around Target for a little while. Like those days where you're just spending time with yourself, when you can embody that, like you create this energy that like, wow, she loves being by herself. I want to be in her energy because she likes to be in her energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like allow yourself to be taken care of. Like Shannon and I talk about this all the time. Like I'll get sushi delivered versus going to get it. And that's allowing me to like be nurtured, be taken care of. I'll go, you know, Joe's gone. So I go get a massage and I have someone else, you know, rub me down. And not that it's like in a sexual way, but at least like I'm being taken care of. I'm being pampered. Someone is looking after me and nurturing me, which allows me to drop into that feminine as well. So
yeah, this is beautiful. Olivia, for everybody who's just wondering where they can come find you, we shared your website in the bio. Tell us what's your Instagram, where can people come check you out and hang out and
so I'm on Instagram, Olivia Seline. Surprise, surprise. Facebook, Olivia Seline. OliviaSeline.com. I also have a podcast called Soul in the Raw. We have a new episode every Monday and Friday. Lauren's been on before, and she'll be on again, is what Shannon told me, and we'll have a little conversation. We do talk a lot about sex on the podcast, so make sure kids are not listening. Young ears, we say a lot of fucks, if I'm being honest. And we're just totally unfiltered. We're totally ourselves. We talk about all the things that other people everyone wants to talk about, but no one wants to start the conversation. So we start the conversations around it. And sex as well. Like there's a couple freebies on my website you can grab that I have like a whole 3-day challenge. I've done a sex and intimacy connection training on there too. So lots for you to dig into.
Perfect. Olivia, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your weekend to show up and serve the girls in the Badass Business Babe Tribe. And to everybody listening, we will see you tomorrow for day 7, I believe. 12 Days of Business has been fucking epic. Olivia, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.